Ever look at someone you've loved for decades and wonder if the fire's still there? After 35 years, I thought I knew everything about love, about desire, about my husband. But on our anniversary night, Walter showed me some flames. Never die, they just wait to roar back. Want to know how a quiet evening became the most intense night of our marriage? Before I spill that candlelit night, let me share this with those who believe in love that lasts. If you've ever wondered if passion can outlive time, if romance can burn deeper with age, hit like, subscribe, and let's explore how love grows wilder with the years. I woke to the soft glow of morning sunlight slipping through the curtains of our Portland home, the window cracked just enough to let spring's crisp air drift in, carrying birdsong. Walter slept beside me, his face softened by the peace only sleep brings. I lingered watching him, years unspooling in my mind. His hair, once dark chestnut, now silvered. His strong jaw softened by time, the same jaw I memorized in our 20s. More lines around his eyes, now laugh lines earned through decades of shared joys and trials. A pang of nostalgia hit me. I loved him deeper than ever, but sometimes I missed the wild spark of our youth, the way his touch could ignite something untamed inside me. Things were different now, softer, quieter. That's what 35 years of marriage does. The world sees you as a steady unit, unshakable as the foundation of our home. We were solid, but parts of our marriage had faded, parts we rarely spoke of. We weren't the impulsive, fevered couple who couldn't keep their hands off each other anymore. Life had smoothed those edges, and though I'd made peace with it, I craved that spark again. The smell of brewing coffee downstairs pulled me from my thoughts. I slipped out of bed, careful not to wake him, and padded down the hall, trying to shake the wistful ache. Today was special, our 35th anniversary, and Walter had a way of making even simple days extraordinary. After breakfast, he vanished into the garage, muttering about something to take care of. Typical Walter, quiet, humble, always plotting. His surprises over the years were never flashy, but they always hit deep, full of care, intention, love. While he was out, I started on his favorite lemon cake measuring flour, my mind drifting to our early days. We were so young, so unsure of the future, but certain of each other. I thought of our first tiny apartment, creaky floors, a leaky faucet we never fixed. We had nothing back then, but we had love. I remembered him coming home, shirt smelling of sawdust and sweat, pulling me into a dance in our cramped kitchen. We'd laugh until we couldn't breathe, collapsing on the couch with cheap wine and dreams of what our life would be. Life hadn't always gone as planned, grief, uncertainty, the miscarriage that left months of silence. I tried to stitch myself back together, and Walter didn't know how to fix it, but he stayed, held me when I cried, even when I pushed him away. Somehow, we found our way back, those moments woven into the fabric of our marriage, stitched with laughter, quiet triumphs, resilience. As I slid the cake into the oven, I realized how grateful I was, not just for the good times, but for the hard ones that shaped us. That evening, Walter suggested dinner on the porch. When I stepped outside, I froze. Strings of lights from our daughter's wedding 2 years ago hung above, casting a warm, romantic glow. The table held my favorite pasta, a bottle of red wine. "Will this do?" he asked, pulling out a chair, his smile soft but deliberate. "It's perfect," I said, chest tightening at the effort he'd put in. We ate slowly, savoring the food, the moment. Conversation drifted to favorite memories, as it always did on nights like this. "Remember our honeymoon?" I asked. "How could I forget?" he said, laughing. "That creaky bed and breakfast, drafty windows, a bed that squeaked. It had the best view of the mountains," I added, smiling. And we spent half the time in that bed anyway. Walter raised an eyebrow, a glint of mischief in his eyes. We were insatiable back then, weren't we? I flushed like I always did when he teased me. Truth was, I missed those days, the passion, the spontaneity. But sitting there looking at the man who'd shared every victory and heartbreak, I knew what we had now was richer, deeper. He took my hand, fingers warm, firm, leading me upstairs. There was something different in how he held me, not just affection, but purpose. My heart fluttered, a mix of curiosity and anticipation. In the bedroom, I stopped short. Candlelight flickered on the dresser, golden shadows dancing on the walls. The bed was made with fresh, smooth sheets, the air heavy with sandalwood like the cologne he wore when we were first married. "Walter, what's all this?" I asked, voice catching a whisper. He turned, eyes steady but vulnerable. "I wanted tonight to be special. For you. For us." He didn't say more. Words felt too small for the way his gesture hit me. It wasn't just the candles, the scent, the care he'd taken. It was the love behind it, the choice to remind us passion doesn't have to fade. He brushed a strand of hair from my face, fingers lingering on my cheek. "You're beautiful," he said, voice low, almost reverent. My breath caught at how he looked at me like I was the only woman in the world. Tears pricked my eyes, but I blinked them back, leaning into his touch. His kiss was different, slow, deliberate, like he was tasting me. His hand slid to my waist, pulling me closer, and I felt strength in his touch, not just physical, but emotional. The years melted away, the weight of time, routine, quiet compromises dissolving. All that remained was this moment, raw, electric, like the first time we'd been together. His hands explored, gentle but sure, like rediscovering familiar ground and finding new beauty. I closed my eyes, letting myself feel everything. The warmth of his palms, the soft brush of his lips on my neck, his breath quickening against my skin. He whispered my name, not just a sound, but a promise, a reminder this wasn't just physical intimacy, but the love we'd built over decades. As we moved together, the intensity was almost overwhelming, every touch, every kiss, every whisper thick with feeling. It was like he'd tapped into the core of who we were, not just husband and wife, but lovers. My fingers threaded through his hair, marveling at how his body moved with mine, knowing exactly what I needed without a word. No hesitation, no insecurity, just two people perfectly in sync, fully present. The world outside the room ceased to exist. Years, challenges, doubts dissolved. Only his hands, his lips, the weight of his love remained pulling me under like a tide. When the climax hit, it wasn't just physical, but emotional, spiritual, like every moment of our life together had led to this. I clung to him, breathless tears spilling unbidden down my cheeks. He kissed them away, whispering soft words of comfort. As we collapsed together, the room quiet except for our breathing, he pulled me close, arms wrapping around me like he'd never let go. "I love you," he whispered into my hair, voice rough but steady. I pressed my head to his chest, hearing the steady thump of his heart. "I love you too," I said, voice thick with emotion I hadn't felt in years. We lay there tangled in each other, the candlelight cocooning us in warmth. I traced lazy circles on his chest, amazed by the man who'd given me not just his body, but his heart, his soul. It wasn't just the most intense intimacy we'd shared, it was the most meaningful. Not about recapturing youthful passion, but celebrating everything we'd built. Laughter, tears, quiet victories, resilience. It showed me that even now, after all these years, we could create something beautiful, vibrant, new. Morning came, dawn's soft light filtering through Walter's arms still around me. The room was quiet sandalwood, lingering my body humming with the memory of last night. A smile spread as I turned to him, his eyes warm, tender. "Morning," he whispered, voice gentle. "Morning," I replied, fingers brushing his cheek. Last night wasn't just about passion, it was about a love that had grown deeper, layered with time. We'd rediscovered something I hadn't realized I'd missed so much. "I wanted to remind you how much I love you," he said. "You remind me every day," I replied, resting my head on his shoulder. We sat in silence, sipping coffee as sunlight filled the room. 35 years together, and somehow we'd found something new, something beautiful. So is Walter right. Can the deepest passion come after decades of marriage? If this story touched you, drop a comment. I want to hear your thoughts on lasting love and rekindled romance. Hit like, subscribe for more stories about love that grows stronger with time. Sometimes the most passionate chapters come when you least expect them.